Welcome back to AnyQuest's tutorial videos, where today we're going to be discussing the retrieve activity that you see over here in the left pane. So first off, let's discuss a little bit about the retrieve activity, because it's a very helpful activity when creating a workflow. So the retrieve activity utilizes its inputs as queries to extract content from the content repository, serving as a foundation for retrieval augmented generation, or in short, RAG pipeline. RAG integrates a retrieval system with a generative model. Instead of relying solely on a pre-trained language model's knowledge, it retrieves relevant information from an external knowledge base or document stored in real time to generate responses. This makes the system more dynamic and up-to-date. So for AnyQuest, what we can do is come into our workspaces and go, or not our workspaces, but go into the workspace that we're using and come into settings. And then we're going to come down to RAG, right? And tokens per chunk is just basically the amount of words that it's taken. So what's great about RAG and the retrieve activity is we can upload hundreds of documents. There's really no limit. So if you have like 100 case studies, it can then pull out certain chunks of whatever you're feeding into it. So you kind of give it what you're looking for, and then it'll go and retrieve chunks throughout all of these different case studies, query it, and bring it back to you. So that's tokens per chunks. And then you're going to want to set the RAG folder. So I've already set it up. RAG folders, case studies, and this for the company Analytic. All right, so we have that selected now. We're going to click Save. All right, so just one more thing I wanted to mention before we go into the agent and show you the example is that I just want to mention RAG can pull data from recent or custom data sets, ensuring accurate and current responses. Instead of training a large model with all possible data, it can access external sources dynamically. So that's what we're kind of doing here with the content, is it's only going to be looking at that content. It's not going to be going other places and looking for more information. It's really just basing all of this off of what you upload into that content folder, right? So you can tailor the retrieval component to specific use cases. And an important part of RAG is vector databases. And just briefly, a vector database is a specialized database designed to store and query vector embeddings. It's essentially a place to store all this data, so you're quickly able to query the data. We'll go back into the agent. So for this agent, what I've set it up to do is, let's say you have a meeting with an executive from Analytic. We're going to use the CEO, for example, for this flow. And you want to generate some talking points. Maybe you don't really know exactly what you should be discussing with them, but you want to have some talking points when you go into the meeting, right? So we're just basically going to be putting in the name, their title, and the company. And it's going to do some research on the web, return 5 bullet points. We're creating a JSON object just so we could use the name, title, and company further down in the flow. Then we're going to bring in initiatives, right? So after researching, we're tasking this generate activity to bring back key initiatives and priorities. And then the top 3 initiatives it finds, that's what the output's going to be. And then we're going to send these initiatives into the retrieve activity, right? So now it has kind of the baseline of what it's going to be looking for in the case studies. So those initiatives are going to be brought in, and then the retrieve activity is going to go through all the case studies and then pull out chunks that are relevant, right? And then this we feed in, so we have the initiatives coming in, the relevancy from case studies, and then all of this is going to be finally merged together down here. So let's just give this a run so you could kind of see what it does. So I'll paste in the name, title, and the company name. Okay, we'll give this a run. Come into activities. Right, that's what we entered. First generate, that put it into a JSON object. The next one went and searched the web and brought back company overview, challenges, key personas, and use cases, which is going to be an important one. Alright, then we see with executive initiatives, here it got 3 initiatives, just like what we asked for, and that's going to be fed into the retrieve activity. So here you could see it's taken quite large chunks, and that's what we were talking about earlier with the chunk size. You can reduce it. Here I set it to quite large chunks. But it's really how you want to set it up, right? And then we'll go into the merge, so you can see the executive initiatives, the snippets relevant to the executive. Here we have 3, and then the quotes relevant from those case studies, right? So here you can see it's a really powerful tool to use, plenty of use cases for it, but that's my example for the retrieve activity. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.